everybody. Episode 12 of Spot Burn Podcast. We're in a new venue tonight. Airbnb in the Northwoods, Wisconsin. Not in the basement. Josh is here with us. We got a special guest with us.
Hello.
Not going to make any huge puns because that's been done before. Big guest.
Never heard it.
Never heard it before. But we're excited about this one. We had a day of fishing. We're going to chat all about it, what he thinks in Wisconsin, and we're excited. So stay tuned. But quick, no current events because we're up here. We're gonna spend our time wisely. A little bit of sponsor plug. We used a couple of them today. They were required, especially that Stealthcraft Hooligan.
Yes, sir.
So big shout out to Stealthcraft Boats.
It performed well today. It was I was saying at the bar, unprompted, it was a perfect boat for what we did today.
They got us down the river. It was probably not ideal for much else.
No, it has its place.
Yeah, it has its place, and that's why we got them, because they're perfect. Cortland Line as well. We all used a little bit of their stuff today. Bite Wire Line. Big shout out to those guys. Thank you for sponsoring. Let's get into it, though. The main event. Happy to be here. We got your host, Dan.
And Bam Bam.
And our special guest, Mr. Ben Sittig.
Hey, I'm Ben. I'm a huge fly fisherman.
Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, thank you guys for hosting me and having me. I can't thank you enough. It's my second time here. You guys...
Welcome back.
Yeah, you guys took me under your wing last year, unprompted, and it was fantastic, and I loved it so much I wanted to come back.
Yeah, and why are you here in Wisconsin in the first place? How did it all get started?
Well, to
Like
try
the
to catch
trip.
a muskie is why
Yeah.
I'm here.
But you guys have a pretty cool event going on in the Northwoods.
Yes, it's called Musky Madness,
Yep.
and it is a trip put on by Bob White, the legendary fly fishing artist. And we're at a lodge nearby, and it's a hosted trip by him, and it's all about trying to catch muskies. I think there's like 14 dudes and the several guides.
Those spots go pretty fast. That's a good, yeah.
Yes, and he's been doing it for a long time, and it sells out every year. So bobwhitestudio.com, I think.
I think you're right about that. Yeah, well done.
Google Bob
Yeah.
White art, and you'll find it.
Yeah, well done. No, he's that's a cool event. If you can get on it next year, definitely recommend it. It's sold out for this weekend, has been for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I'm lucky enough to be a special guest at that event, so I'm looking forward to it. And that's really what prompted me to go muskie fishing in the first place with at all, because I've never done it. I had some interest in it, but I don't have much opportunity to do it.
But it was on your radar.
It was definitely on my radar, yeah. And Bob invited me as a guest, and let's give him the whole story. And I was all in for the 2022 trip, which it was going to happen, and then Bob got COVID a week before the trip. So the trip got canceled. I had a plane ticket to Wisconsin, a rental car, and nobody to fish with. So I put up the smoke signal on Instagram and the other back channels, and I got linked up with you guys. I said I was going to go to Wisconsin. I need people to fish me, and you guys pretty much came to my rescue. And that's how I got linked up with you guys last year, and I had a fantastic time muskie fishing. Last year's trip got postponed to this year, and here we are now. I'm pre-fishing that trip with you guys.
And you had a pretty warm welcome in Wisconsin. I mean, or we would consider it. We were like, hey, yeah.
Yeah. It was
Because you fished with a bunch of other people last year, too. Which was kind of cool to see, like all sorts of Wisconsin community being like, "Yeah, dude, come on over, we'll take you out."
It was fantastic. I was so confident that I could, and this is in like 3 days' notice. I'm like, I know that I can show up in Wisconsin and people will fish me for the next 4 days, and that's exactly what happened. I kind of feel weird saying that, to be honest with you, but that's exactly what happened. And I met you guys for the first time, and then I fished with my buddy Fred and a friend of ours and I had met Fred before, and then I came up north where we are now, and I fished with Josh Holbert, and I had never met him before also. So it was just a bunch of new people showing their generosity, and I appreciated it. And I wanted to come back and do it again because I still haven't caught one yet, and I like to hang out with you guys.
So do you like them? Do you love them? Where are you, I mean, are you like, this is kind of old, I'm getting used to it, or?
No, it's Well, I don't have enough. I'm very inexperienced. Today was day 5, so that's very limited experience. I'm not mad at him yet, but I know I'm gonna get more mad at him. I would really like to catch one.
You've gotten the fastballs too. Like it's nothing you're doing genuinely wrong. I mean, you guys cast 20 feet for trout fishing, and that's what you're doing out here. Pretty good. So, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You
It wasn't
actually
much more than that.
Genuinely,
Nice.
you're coming at it with the right mindset because you were like, I'm just gonna put in my time, and you're like, well, we don't often hear that.
No, that's the only way I can that I see it happening. I think I try to be focused, but it wanes throughout the day. And if I can, and I know my weaknesses, so, and I get distracted and daydream and look at eagles instead of looking at my fly. And I think my best strategy is time.
Yep. Yeah.
And even throughout today, like, God, I feel like such an old man, but I wanted to like kind of sit down a little bit today and just take a break for a few minutes, but I felt very compelled to keep my fucking fly moving through the water.
Well, and we didn't do like a young man's section of water either.
No, that was extremely
Yeah.
rugged.
You guys are all fine looking gentlemen, but
Whatever.
none of us are in the younger years. Just a little bit of like schlepping, not like rough to what you're used to.
I
but
didn't do anything hard. All I did was stand in the front of the boat and cast.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you did a good job at that, though. You did. I mean, like
try.
that's all. That's the hardest part, I think, with getting people into it. Is
It's work.
it's like you're not ready to challenge that mental game of you're not going to get one.
Right.
Am I doing it right? You don't get a lot of that.
I don't know.
You've got people telling you what you think for 5 days, like you said, but you're like, I haven't interacted with that many, and that's just how it goes.
Well, you just have to be willing to accept that, I think. And I don't know.
Are you ready to use live scope yet? We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
were way more open to it, dude.
Yeah, I'll take advantage of. I'll say it publicly right now. I'll use a drone to find a fish sometime. Sometimes.
Oh, dude, we should have chatted about this. I was just like, he's a
Yeah.
huge fly fisherman, Dan. He's gonna hate live scope because
No,
I loved it. We don't have it up here with us, but maybe next time you're in Wisconsin, we'll go on a live scope adventure.
I just know it's a useful tool, and I think I can still catch the fish the way I want to catch it, which is on a fly and a fly rod. But if I can find that fish and interact with it with a live scope or something electronic like that, I don't mind that personally. I think it comes from my ice fishing past and history. Like we used to ice fish sitting on a bucket, jigging that thing up and down. You don't know what's going on down there. But when we introduced electronics into it, it's like, oh my God, like this is the way to go. So
Efficiency.
and not only does it help you catch more fish, but it makes it more engaging and more fun because you can just see more of what's going on and it's more interactive. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just more happening.
Yeah. And when appropriate. Like, it's not like today, which we'll talk about briefly because we had one day on the water. We got second day tomorrow with you, and then you're on to a couple other
Some other things.
awesome days of fishing. It wouldn't have helped us.
No, useless today.
Useless today.
It would have got ripped off the bottom of the boat.
Yep. And wouldn't have told you much anyway if you wanted to sit there and point it at
Right.
things. So
No.
it's like, it's a little bit of that. So let's talk about a little bit of the gear and stuff you're using because there's like, we're not gonna have Ben give his entire background. If you want to check that out, go somewhere else. But I'd love to at least hear like your fishing background when applied to your few times musky fishing. Where is it?
Well,
No, it's all the same to me, or is there like similarities, differences that you see because you're fresh to it? But you've fished for a lot of different shit, more than probably Josh and I, just being mainly Midwestern.
like, how does it compare to other fishing I've done? Is that what you're
yeah,
asking?
like good, bad, fucking. I hate this. This part sucks.
No, I don't
this
hate
part's
it.
cool.
It's just it's streamer fishing, just at a more intense level, with more attention paid to how the fly swims and how you swim the fly and the lines and how they react. It's streamer fishing on, magnified, I think.
That's a good way to say it. I like that.
Yeah. And you
have to use more of the tools too of streamer fishing that it allows, because you're just doing different weird shit that.
Yeah, general streamer fishing in my experience, when I think streamer fishing, I think trout and I think maybe smallmouth bass. And it's generally you throw the fly out there and you just kind of strip it back.
Yep.
Whatever pace you want, go for it. And you could do it blindfolded and catch a lot of fish. If you have your eyes open and actually watch the fly, you could maybe catch a few more fish. But the way you swim these flies and put them purposefully in this spot and that spot seems to be magnified. Does that make sense? Because and a lot of that is like when I'm trout fishing, I'm casting to more specific, obvious spots. But here we're dissecting bigger, more vague areas, and you have to look for more specifics. This little rock over here, or what have you.
Well, and we even got into like tuning flies a little bit.
Yeah, that helped a lot.
Like just little things like that. What were your perspectives of what you're fishing fly wise?
Well, I want them to
there's some
swim.
different things that you wouldn't see in other streamers.
Well,
Some of them though, you were like, oh, this is like what we would use. A couple of them.
That was that small one that we had at the end. It was like 8 inches long, which is a big trout fly, small musky fly, but it was absolutely something that I would pull out of my box. Like it looked like it came from my box. It was a big trout streamer. But our flies are generally heavier. We don't care about the hovering. I know you want them to pause and hover and not sink. We're retrieving way faster, so our flies sink. I don't give a shit about hovering.
Yep.
Yeah. But with the tweaking of the flies, I thought it was interesting because I know you want them to swim one way or another, and I'm like, I know this fly needs to swim differently. I don't know what the hell to do the shank. I'm just gonna give it to one of you guys.
Keeps going one way. That happens a lot.
Yeah. So then, what did you do? You bent it, but what is it like?
Yeah, the easiest way to explain it to people is like, especially for those on video, you want it like an upside down shallow sea with it exaggerated near the hook eye or the shank eye. Like you want the shank to kind of look like that, and sometimes you need it to be real straight, and sometimes it'll
like an upside down spoon.
Yeah, and sometimes it'll corkscrew a little bit, so that'll make it kind of pop to one side. You need that kind of straight, but also upside down spoon. Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I knew it needed a tweaking, but I had no idea what to do to it to make it swim good.
And that was one of these right here, August West. He's a good dude from Minneapolis, which is where you flew into.
Right.
I guess like I love to just go through for folks because you've had a pretty sweet exposure, and I think one of the things we talk about is just how spoiled we are up here and how awesome it is because there's so many. It's like a good opportunity because we learned about what happens to awesome resources that a lot of people go to. And we have an awesome resource that not a lot of people go to. So you still try to like talk about it enough to be like, this is here and shit's happening. And also, let's do it a little bit differently. But you got exposed to like all the good stuff from your 5 days, except lake fishing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But what are just the overall setting, a little bit of everything, different parts of the state already, kind of. What are your thoughts on like the actual terrain of musky fishing of the Midwest?
My overall thoughts, I honestly, what first comes to mind is it seems like there's nobody here. I don't. Maybe I've seen another boat. Oh, we saw a dude in a boat today.
We did. He was up to some stuff. We saw a dude shirtless in a boat with a dog and a gun,
and a shotgun.
Yeah. He later saw him with some orange clothing, suggesting he was bird hunting. But at first, he was.
I heard his
barely
prop
clothed.
hit some rocks too. I heard that.
Yeah.
But I think my overall impression of Wisconsin and Wisconsin fishing is there's nobody here, man. I'm coming from Colorado where there's people everywhere. Drive around on the roads, there's nobody around, and there's tons of land and tons of water. And lots of opportunity. That's the way I see it. And I haven't been to a bad spot yet. I haven't been to a spot where I've caught a muskie yet. But
That's also true.
They've all been great spots.
Yeah.
So, and I know there's, I've seen this tiny little piece of it. So.
Yeah. You're in the heart of it. At least one world records, all like the lore. This is definitely one of those spots. Hayward, we're in the general Hayward area.
Hey,
and
if I'm going to try to catch a muskie, I'm not going to mess around.
No.
Right? Here I am.
Yeah, we have some special stuff, though. So what do we do today, gentlemen? It was a little bit of kind of the theme so far for you, but like a beatdown. Tried everything. So that was like maybe you've seen a lot of the other tricks that whether or not you think they work, like you've probably seen most people trying to do, to get them. I think genuinely when you would like a person like you is like, hey, I'm here, want to fish. I'm not going to be like, let's sabotage this guy.
No.
Maybe a little bit actually after today's conversation.
No. I don't think, honestly, my impression is when it comes down to it, it's not rocket science. Right now, what we were dealing with was fish it anywhere deep. That's pretty low water is what
Exact
we saw today.
byproduct of, and that's something we've had for a while, but it seems to be taking different effects as it lasts a little bit longer. I don't know. It was interesting to see that spot today, Josh, and like
it was low water.
Yeah,
like,
it's not, and it's like low. Like it's kind of they've this has started to change them a little bit, but you never really know. We've had it pretty bad, and this is about as low as it's been in a lot of the state, from the trout stuff all the way to this. What's it like out by you guys?
We have water. We had a lot of big water this year. We had a big snowpack and then a high runoff, and we've had a very rainy summer. So we have lots of water right now. And that's like, I know rivers, and I know right when I walked into that river where we're putting the boat in today, you just look at it and it's like, oh, this thing's low. Like way low. All the banks are dry. It's rocks everywhere.
The mud covered rocks. You can see it.
Yeah. But we saw a lot of suckers, red horse. We saw some fish, a few smallmouth, one confirmed,
One follow,
some small muskie, maybe another esox of some kind. But we saw a few fish, but not a ton.
Yeah, generally pretty slow for what we were shooting for today. But that's how she goes. And I think we try to be honest about that. It's super not popular, but I think it's part of the fun kind of brotherhood, sisterhood of musky fly fishing is like anybody telling you that it doesn't kind of suck for a long time in between, even if a fish a day is still for a guide doing 10 hours for one fish.
I came here fully expecting to suffer for the next
How you
6
feeling?
days.
You came in a little you said you had a pre-injury. You came into
My
Musky Country.
my shoulders got some issues, but I did okay today.
Listed as questionable as you were arriving.
Yeah, no, I'm doing all right. My wrist was bothering me, but once I did the little two-hand at the end of the day, that
You
really,
found that one later.
Yeah.
That's
I knew it was a thing. You clued me into that last year, but I saw you do it like this morning. And then later in the day, my wrist was bothering me, so I started doing that, and it helped a lot.
Yeah.
The old overhead two-hand caster.
Especially because we're not doing as much delicate presenting. It's more like get it out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work I'm not a huge guy.
I don't even think of that. Yeah, it's still a lot of work.
And my technique sucks too.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Still a lot of work. Even if you're conventional fishing, even if you're trolling for muskies, it's still like the edge is not super decipherable in terms of it's just like, they all generally, no matter how you get them, about 10 to 20% of the time on a really, really good day.
Even live scope is a lot of work to deal with.
Oh my God, I know. Yeah. More batteries, more everything.
There's no substitute for time on the water and keeping that meat wet.
Today, the camera setup we had today was the most insane camera setup I've ever been a part of. We had
Insane clusterfuck or insane?
No, it wasn't a clusterfuck. It wasn't that bad to deal with. I've just never been a part of that many cameras at one time. And I'm
was
not
a
saying
lot.
that it's a bad thing. Like, it would have been really badass if we had caught a muskie with all those cameras.
It didn't matter to them. I'm glad we had a little practice run for half the day where I think Josh and I both were. You were saying a GoPro on, which you have to do.
No,
tap
GoPro,
GoPro.
Tap GoPro.
And we were just like, oh man, he's talking to his GoPro.
That's talking to you guys. I just didn't
We
clue you
discussed
in
this
that.
earlier, guys.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So we did a little bit of a river day today. Tomorrow you're going on your first Musky Lake.
Yeah, Stillwater.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we can call myself a Stillwater fisherman.
Stillwater fisherman.
Cool.
Don't totally understand that specific way of naming it in fly fishing.
Stillwater.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, it's not moving.
Yeah, it's totally accurate, but it was just like we call them lakes, I think. You know,
What's it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a pond.
reservoir, pond, I guess it just generalizes a little bit.
Ben, do you do much Stillwater fishing out where you live?
No, I used to. Well, these days it's mostly high alpine lakes. I used to do tons of like bass ponds and stuff like that when I lived on the Front Range of Colorado, and carp, of course. But nowadays, let's see, what kind of Stillwater do I do for trout? It's alpine lakes and big reservoirs, which is usually from a boat. When I think Stillwater, I don't know if I think of from feet or not. I think of float tubes and how stupid they are. That's what I think of. But yeah, a little bit, but not much. Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a river rat.
Yeah. By and large, yeah. Or I'm a boat rat. Somewhere where I can be on a boat, and it's hard to get a boat in some of the lakes near us.
Yep.
That's odd. That's exactly the opposite of what we got here. The concrete ramp.
Yeah.
90% of people in Wisconsin want a concrete ramp to back their boat in.
So that's why we don't see anybody on the rivers.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Huh.
It's
But-
just enough of a pain in the butt. They don't want to run shuttle.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and so I'm thinking of all my 5 days. I've seen like one or two other boats here and there. Are we going to see a lot of boats tomorrow? You think?
On the lakes up here, yeah, you can probably see one or two on some of the bigger lakes, but weekday, probably not.
Yeah.
We might have the whole place to
Yeah,
ourselves.
I mean, generally speaking, yeah. Labor Day weekend, I think you could expect to see at some of these spots like 2 or 3 boats, maybe 5.
And they're
on like,
fishing.
just like general recreating.
Yeah,
You're not going to see someone fly fishing.
yeah. That was
There's
my
just
next
too much
question.
up here. I mean, like we got a tournament coming up a little bit in 2 weeks from when we recorded this. Treelands, Beast of the East, another one coming up after that, which we both sponsor. Unfortunately, full already. So if you want to get in, you got to check that out next year. But right now, those 2 tournaments are coming up, and it's funny because you are kind of seeing how much water is up here, and it's
Oh my God.
Treelands. This tournament, it's crazy. I think we're all kind of fiending over the new rules because it
It's
expands the bound.
expanded.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's half of the state. It
It's
seems
already
like.
an insane amount of water. Now it's just like,
But I heard you talk about that on the last podcast. But it's like the logistics of going that far and checking back in and
Yep.
everything.
just
Yeah.
everything.
That's
Yeah.
all part of the strategy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, if you think you can do it, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
But it spreads everybody out, and that's like part of the reason. Even with 100 fly fishermen for muskies, which I think people think is pretty rare, they all congregate in one area and
Wow.
probably won't see anybody for the whole tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Well, and even like driving on all these roads today, I don't think I saw a boat trailer on any vehicle. I didn't, and everything's like so tucked away. A lot of the ramps that I've been, well, ramps, air quotes, it's like you just turn off some random road and wind down through the trees, and then boom, there's a river there, and it's just all like nondescript and really low key. Like I know that one that we went to this morning was like super low key, but I've seen some other stuff like that. I feel like it was all neat.
We have this tournament coming up, and I wanted to kind of ask you, how did you feel about your musky sabotage that you kind of received from us this time when you showed up? We discussed it later in the boat and clued you in, but henceforth we we kind of had to be a little secretive with Ben coming into town. More to have fun with them, but two, we got a tournament coming up, and all in good faith.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to get the competitive juices flying a little bit. So
they were very deceptive as far as where we were fishing today. And if I was paying attention, I would have known exactly where it was. But I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah.
But we're talking about.
It kind of became the joke, though.
No, it was great, and I had no idea, man. I had no idea. Well, you guys know I'm a little bit gullible already, but I was like, oh, where are we fishing today? The East Fork of this and the West Branch of that, and talking about it all day where we're fishing. And then on the way home, I got clued in that it was all bullshit, and we were fishing a completely different river system than what I thought we were. But,
yeah, and then we showed up and we were. I couldn't even keep up with you today, Josh. We were just saying shit. I don't even know if you and I knew what we were talking about.
It was like a top secret twin link.
Yeah, but now Jose Cuervo will now forever be known as
Jose Cuervo.
Like that spot got named today.
Yep.
Right? Am I wrong about that?
I think it fits.
Yep.
Yeah.
We didn't catch a fish there, but it's
there. We have, and that's a better name than we had for it, and it works out pretty nicely. Yeah. No,
you got me. I had no freaking clue where we were.
And it was honestly like, it was partially, I think you and I had talked about it, but I think it's also one of the things I loved about muskies, just like being a nerdy Wisconsin. There's just so much fucking bullshit and fraud and mysterious actions that go all the way back to the beginning of it.
Behind closed doors.
Yeah. That you kind of have to do it in jest to keep I mean, what we were talking about today, we saw a guy with a shotgun and we made a joke that was like, well, we can't rule out that he was musky fishing. Up here for that fish, you get some.
It's plausible.
It's very plausible, absolutely. Someone just goes a lifetime of musky fishing and gets so mad at some point. Because that'll happen up in the Northwoods. Loses it a little bit, gets too close to musky fishing. You almost have to have a healthy relationship with it.
I think you got to catch a few to have a healthy relationship with it, right?
That would be where it gets healthier, yeah. But you're still, I don't know.
I'm brand new, man.
You are brand new, but there's you got the program.
I have a taste.
You're doing the thing. Yeah. No, you're playing the game.
If I just keep hammering, something's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. What were you playing the game with today? You casted
lots of different
bunch of stuff, bunch of different flies. I'll kind of help you if you don't remember what they all were. But flies, rods, reels, what were you all using?
Well, TFO was really awesome, and they sent me a couple 12-weight BC big flies. I'm fishing that.
Yeah.
And I have a couple Orvis reels and some Scientific Anglers lines and flies from all kinds of people. I got looper flies.
Yep.
I have
Sam. He's tying up some flies right now for us.
Yep. Sam makes great flies. I had, what was that lime one I was fishing earlier?
The black and lime?
No, we mentioned it earlier. It was this one.
Yeah, with a little bit different. It had the drop hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. August West. He's a good tire.
West, that's what I'm looking for.
You were fishing.
I fished a couple game changers, one game changer that I was kind of double hand stripping. There was that one from Fulling Mill that I liked a lot.
This one. You fished it in a sucker color.
Yes.
There's not many flies. I said this to you too, and
it swims really well.
There's not many flies that you can buy through the commercial manufacturers, which frankly we're at the point with musky fishing where it's you need some because the rest of them are really hard to get at. You can't just order 12 dozen for the bin like you do with Parachute Adams.
No, they're all pretty custom and
one-offs. They take forever and it's hard. These ones though, they're good. We got a lot of them. You know what's crazy? They discontinued the color you got. We bought the rest of them.
It looks so perfect when I'm swimming around.
We bought the rest of them. I was like, what?
Good.
I mean, I get it.
This one is oriented differently. This one is vertical. The other one, the red gill.
The sucker is a little bit different. Yep.
It was, different fly. Anyway, swims real good. And I fished some big flies and some little flies. And what was that one I fished at the end? That I said it was a trout fly.
Oh, that was a little like a musky drunk, disorderly, deceiver kind of thing.
Oh, just articulated brownish reddish thing. the big ones hurt my
Little
arm.
diving rise, yeah, dude, they do.
The big ones hurt my arm a lot. The little ones didn't hurt my arm so much. That intermediate line that I cast of yours was way more pleasant.
Good.
Yeah,
It's a workout, man.
It is. It's a marathon. You gotta do everything you can to get through the day out there sometimes.
how'd you like fishing on the Hooligans stealth crafts? Like a little bit weirder rafts than what you guys get.
No, it's
you got
not
a
weird.
real man's raft out west.
No, it's just different. And I just, I have a good understanding of rafts. And just because it's not outfitted like mine doesn't mean it's not good. It was perfect for what we did today. Pretty bare bones and super light. One dude can toss that thing around on land and drag it. Like I wasn't doing anything when we were dragging it to the shore. You were just taking it down.
Oh, like in the water and stuff?
Yeah, when we were dragging it down there.
Yeah.
And the floor was fine to stand on. I like a firmer floor for a long day, but it was fine today. And we didn't need any rocker front or back. There's no waves or anything.
Yeah.
So no, it's perfect.
We are
for
kind of
what we
giving
did
you the
today.
extremes of it. I mean, not that we're going out to huge water tomorrow, but you got a little bit of the rough and tumble musky. We love those Hooligans, but you also might have experienced how, like, especially compared to tomorrow, they can be when it goes down, which you haven't totally experienced. You did it with Josh last year, the chaos.
Trying to land a big muskie when you're in that little boat. Yeah, I'm sure.
And
Sucks.
even boat positioning. And
well, you
got
to get out of the boat for that.
You do, really.
That's what I would do in that situation.
Yeah, if you have
I think.
3, you can get the back guy to net them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get it's just there's a couple. Sometimes they come in easy and they just head shake, thrash at the boat, and you can scoop them. Sometimes it's just a shit show, depending where they're at too.
Well, that's
In those rivers like that, on those rafts.
I was recently in a situation of giant fish.
You were.
Small boat, so this is very.
you
fresh
put us
in
on
my
you
mind.
put us on blast with that, dude.
I put you on
Well,
blast?
no, we were like, oh, we just got to get Ben his first muskie.
Oh.
And then it was like, Ben just caught a 36 inch trout.
Yeah.
Like, we were like, we just got to get him a muskie that's bigger than any trout he's caught.
I raised the bar a little bit.
You did, right before the buzzer. You're like, all right, boys.
That's like a few days ago.
Yeah. Literally.
But the fresh in my mind is the chaos of, and we couldn't handle that fish. Like, it was in the net, it went out of the net. And then once we had it in the net and had control of it, the specifics of our situation was we couldn't anchor. So it's like, what are we gonna do? And it sucked. It was a chaotic situation. And, multiply that by a much bigger fish with teeth and everything, and shit gets weird. Right?
Yeah. That'll be the opposite tomorrow. Knock on wood, because we're in Musky Country and you never know what can go wrong.
Or
But
I'm excited for the big boat
Yeah.
tomorrow.
it's a little bit more.
We're gonna be really
bougie.
comfortable.
It's bougie.
The
We can
Rolls-Royce
bring
of the-
2
the water.
coolers.
You get to the point where you're like, I have no excuses but to fucking cast this fly rod, because everything else, I'm driving, the boat's driving itself.
Stereo.
Stereo.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't play that music though. You got to stereo off, GoPro tap,
Oh yeah.
copyright infringement.
It's not the copyright infringement. It's that I want to put music in the background of the video, and then the music in the background of the boat messes with that.
That too.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the issue. It's not the copyright issue for me. Yeah, and I love music in the boat. I want to listen to music when I'm fishing, but it makes a real big headache when I'm trying to edit a video. So I'm not being a party pooper, but
I hear you, dude. How's your formula is pretty slick. How much time do you spend editing? And do you kind of run and gun as you go, or do you batch them all when you seem to turn them around a little bit?
I try to get ahead if I can, but at the most I can get 2 or 3 weeks ahead. And like, for instance, now, like, I'm going to be gone for a week. I had to get ahead. So I had like the next 2 weeks of YouTube videos already uploaded, but at the same time, I had to like crunch, and I just like bammed out like 2 really quick short videos and filmed them all in one morning, had one edited that afternoon, and then did the other the next day. But some of the longer videos will take me a couple days. And that could be because it's a video about fishing where I have 6 friggin' days of musky fishing to sort through, or it's one of the longer informational videos where I'm like inserting all those little
Bam, bam,
photos
bam,
and
bam,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, that takes a lot of time. And so it depends. It could take me anywhere from a few hours to a couple days. Yeah, just depends on the type of video because it's a pretty diverse.
It is,
spectrum.
dude. You chop it up with all sorts of different formats and stuff.
Yeah, I gotta
Oh, yeah.
keep it fresh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, and I'm keeping it fresh not only for the people that are watching it, but also for me. Like, I just want
exactly.
to do something different. Like I did that boat ramp video. Did you guys see that one? Yeah, just mix it up, man. Mix it up. That was a big departure.
That video would be. You could do a round 2 in Wisconsin.
All over the.
Yeah,
I said in the full version of the video, I'm like, I can do this everywhere.
Any like major fisher, any
Go to
major
any busy
recreation.
boat
Yeah.
ramp, dude. And I'm not the first one to think of that.
No,
I'm
no,
copying
no.
other people,
Yeah.
obviously, but I can do the It seems like most of the other ones are Florida based, but we can do some trout ones, some musky ones,
Oh, yeah.
some walleye ones,
yeah.
like whatever, bass ones, all kinds of stuff, all over the place. It's universal. It was a lot of fun. That was a fun one, man. They made it so easy for me.
What's like been some of the craziest shit that you've had to do when you've come into a fishery, like where you just were the most surprised, and you're like on your adventures where you're just like pleasantly surprised about the fishery in terms of all the places you've been able to fish a little bit?
Recently, honestly, what comes to mind is Oklahoma, and there's a big asterisk, and there was a private fishery. You know, it was a 100-acre private lake, but I was blown away by this amazing bass lake that we went to that had hybrids in it as well, wipers we call them. But it was a testament to how well a fishery can be managed and how well the lake was managed. Whoever was managing this lake was doing a fantastic job. I was telling you guys, our mission or that we were part of was it's a 100-acre lake. They were asking for 350 3 to 4 pound bass to be removed. That's what we needed to cull. And obviously we weren't going to do that by ourselves, but that's how the quality of the fishery. So yeah, it was a private fishery, but that was really a surprise that I'm like going to Oklahoma. Okay, you guys said it would be good, but it was like better than I thought it would be. That's the thing that sticks out most recently, I think.
What do you got coming up next?
Well, in a few days, I'm going fishing with Bob White.
Yeah, post Musky.
Yeah.
Are you going? You gonna take a break after that?
Yeah,
or you,
October is going to be pretty chill. I want to fish around home a lot in October because I got this new boat and I want to get that boat out a lot. And then that'll shut down in sometime in November or December. But Florida, little casual jaunt around Florida in November. I'm going to New Smyrna Beach for the Dinghy Derby put on by Taylor Trash Fly Fishing to benefit the Marine Discovery Center. And it is a fundraiser and event. And we're going to do the, I think it's the IF4, International Fly Fishing Film Festival. It's $15 to join the event in New Smyrna Beach, or you can donate online to support the Marine Discovery Center. And then I'm going to go there, do the event, maybe mess around in a boat, probably not fish. And then I'm going to go down south a little bit, snook fish for a day. And then I'm going to go further south for a little bit, or for one day, and I think go offshore with fly rods. So I don't know if that's mahi or maybe small tuna, or I don't even know. But it's with a friend of mine who has the boat to go out there and all the gear, and that's weather permitting. Otherwise, we might be inshore. But a small little Florida tour in November.
So it sounds pretty terrible. You're just staying around doing nothing.
It sucks to be me. And then we got to lay low, and then I'm sure I'll go somewhere else after that. But I want to stay home and fish in my new boat. That's what I want to do.
How much time do you feel like at this, like, something I think about weirdly enough in like Muskie compared to staying here in Wisconsin and limited shots you get at Muskies. We've talked about this, Josh. Like, it's hard to pull you away from it Do you have that at all with like your local water now that you have to travel at all? Like where you're just like,
No.
I wish I got to fish this more, or you feel
No,
good balance?
no, I don't feel that because it's there all the time, you know, but it's also not there all the time. It's not there all winter long. The fishing, I can fish all winter long at home, but the fishing that I want to do at home is with grasshoppers against the bank. You know, and I can only do that a certain time of year. So when it's summertime and the rivers are open and everything, I want to be at home. I always say, like, you know, both weeks of summer are great, you know, and it's just I feel like it's such limited time. And I live in a unique place where it's pretty high elevation. We literally have 8 months of winter. You know, I'm sure it's probably not unlike that up here. This far
It's
north.
not too unlike that.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And,
It
like,
can be
the
September to
the
April.
trees, you guys are a week ahead of us right
Yeah.
now with the trees.
Did it not seem like, I mean, we were in a musky delirium because we got beat down today, but did it not seem like the trees were changing as we were out there?
I agree. I agree with that. They were a lot greener
Yeah.
when we started this.
What
morning.
the?
They were-
I thought I was just like getting the musky. We talk about this
Musky Mirage.
musky mirage. Did you have any of those today? Were you just like, I
I-
don't know what that was.
No,
I'm not
I-
confident enough to
I
bring
had
it up
one.
to them.
No, I had one. Yeah,
Were
my
you just like-
posture changed, but
Yeah.
I didn't.
What
say
was that?
anything. Yeah, I hallucinated that one. Yeah.
And you can feel it in the boat because the person's body tenses
Oh
up
yeah,
and the floor
especially in the
rattles.
rafts. Especially in the
Yeah.
rafts.
No,
Yeah.
I did one of those this afternoon.
The lakes get me all the time. I'm
I
so
was
bad at
fired
it.
up
I
this
like just
morning,
basically
though,
just fish on some of the lakes where I'm like, my brain is gonna pretend it sees a muskie every time. I guess that's not a bad thing. Yeah, they
No,
just
it's
get
a good thing.
soup-
You're fishing with confidence.
Yeah, because we
It's a
got to
good
see
thing.
everything today. That was the cool part.
Super clear water.
Definitely, yeah. Tomorrow will be
Tomorrow's
kind
a
of
new
like
day.
the native, natural, boggy
Yep.
Wisconsin lake water. Then we have a
don't even
bunch
know
of
what
different
that
shit.
is.
Well, it's just like you'll see it. It's
Floating bogs.
floating bogs, timber. There's
We're
not a
gonna
lot
get
of
The whole gamut
recreational
of terrain
pressure
tomorrow. Everything.
because there's a lot of water in Wisconsin as there is with most places, but so much of it has been like developed. The water as it is today is because of what they've dammed up and
Sure.
flooded and flowages
It's
they've
not
made.
the natural state of things.
There's a
Correct.
few lakes and rivers that are, especially some of these smaller lakes, more so than the rivers, because a lot of the rivers have been poked at,
right.
touched,
Right.
fondled with dams.
Molested.
Yeah,
Damn molests.
dam molesters. It's a double entendre now. Would you look at that? Well, we don't want
What's
to take
next on the notes? there?
Yeah, we're good, man. We don't want to take too much time because you got a big journey ahead of us, and I kind of want to just let your musky journey play out, not hype it too much. Any other closing thoughts from you? Otherwise, we'll wrap up. We kind of appreciate having you on here, dude. If everybody hasn't already, it's probably going to come out later, and you probably already saw it, but you're going to be doing a couple musky videos, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak in the optimistic because you're going to do several because you're going to catch so many.
That'd be nice.
This is how you got to operate sometimes.
That'd be
Just
nice.
yep, glass is either half full or empty.
But I think you said something like my musky journey or something, and I honestly I feel like that's what I'm doing. Like I've done one pilgrimage already. This is my second, and I'm just I feel like I'm committed.
More like the Tibetan monk musky journey though than like
Yes.
Las Vegas one where you
Yeah.
just go and it's like I have everything I want now.
Yeah.
But I think
You're like I'm earning this.
I think I
I
hope
fucking hate this. I
I hope
fucking
I'm
hate
going
this.
about it the right way. You
You
know,
are.
I'm trying to be respectful of it and just trying to pay my dues and earn it.
No,
Whatever.
I was like, I was trying to think of it even on when we started fishing the first time and this time. Like the whole time you've just been.
If I just keep doing this, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get one.
You're complaining more because you realize like it's part of the jest of like, oh yeah,
There's
we're
no
all in on
complaining.
the
Yeah.
like, this is fucking dumb sometimes.
Oh, I
but
know it's dumb.
Yeah,
But I knew what I was getting into. I fully knew
Yeah.
what I was getting into. Okay.
we haven't had any of the genuine turnaround. Are we gonna catch one yet?
No.
Haven't
Of course
fallen out of the
not.
boat.
You'll never
Yeah.
see that, man. No, I haven't gotten in the boat once expecting to catch a muskie. So Not to say I wasn't optimistic.
Yes. But you remained hopeful.
Yeah, not to say I wasn't hopeful, but I was not. I don't feel like I should expect to catch one.
Today, though, probably
the
first half of the morning, you're like, where the fuck have these guys taken? I mean, he's like,
No,
yeah,
I knew
we kind of did that.
Through there to get to something else. No, I knew
Yeah.
that. Come on. I thought it was kind of fun watching you guys row rafts. Or watching you row rafts. You did a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Not that you need my validation.
That was some technical stuff.
And let's be honest, most of us are brutes out here. We just have to huff the boat down the river.
Yeah.
You know, slow it down in a few musky spots.
It's all very slow motion.
Very slow motion, just clanking. Like, it doesn't really fit.
It's fun. A new experience.
Yeah. But that's really everything, man. We covered it. I think wanted to you like just talk about your experience, your gear, your approach, because that's something we preach is like you can control your mindset with muskie. You can with other fish, they're trout.
Well, that's all I can control.
That's
Everything else is your approach.
Yeah.
My approach is up here. Everything else is your approach because I'm doing what you tell me to do. But most 90% of it's right up here in my head.
I mean, I'm telling you, you'll notice a big difference tomorrow when we go somewhere that actually has muskies. Yeah, you'll be like, oh, I get why they've been making me do this.
I've seen it before. I saw Josh
Yeah. That's good.
We're all rooting for you, Ben.
We are. We're trying our best.
I
Wisconsin is giving you as much as she's got, which so far is a little bit of a,
Oh, yeah.
walking down Main Street and getting slapped up by the crowd in terms of the muskie reality.
Still a good time. I'm down for all of that.
Good. Well, we're happy to have you. That's all we got. We're excited to go fishing tomorrow. A little bit different. First muskie lake day for Ben. And I think it'll be a welcome change of a pattern for us. Today, as an older guy, I'm ready to do something different, but we appreciate everybody tuning in. Stay tuned for more on that. Hopefully we got something to show you. That's the Spot Burn Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, y'all.
Hopefully next time you get to tell them the story of me catching a muskie.
Thank you for listening to the Spot Burn Podcast. Coming to you from the dungeon, this podcast is presented by Musky Fool Fly Fishing Co. We want to thank our awesome sponsors, Cortland Line Company and Stealth Craft Boats. We also want to thank all of you, our listeners, for tuning in, subscribing, sharing, and spreading the good word. If you haven't heard, go check us out at muskyfool.com. Have fun out there on the water, y'all.